sides and...
Very good morning. We are live from New Delhi. You're watching DD India News Hour, India's voice to the world. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Coming up in the next hour, UN Security Council passes Gaza aid resolution after days of delays, demands safe and unhindered aid deliveries at scale. France detains 2 people as Nicaragua-bound plane with Indian passengers grounded. India gets consular access, says situation being investigated, ensures well-being of the passengers. Significant legal victory for Donald Trump after US top court declines to fast-track Trump's immunity claim in 2020 election case. And in sports, Manchester City beat Fluminense 4-0 to clinch first Club World Cup title. All right, news in detail. Now, the United Nations Security Council has passed a resolution calling for urgent action to get more humanitarian aid into Gaza. The move comes after days of delays as UN members negotiated on a draft text that was palatable for all those on the Security Council. DD India's William Denslow reports from UN headquarters in New York.
After numerous delays and plenty of diplomatic wrangling and negotiations, finally, the Security Council felt in a position to take this draft resolution to a vote. The United States and Russia abstained. They were the 2 nations to do so.
We know so much more needs to be done to address this humanitarian crisis and to lay the groundwork for a lasting peace. And let's be clear, Hamas has no interest in a lasting peace. Hamas is determined to repeat the horrors of October 7th over and over and over again. And that is why the United States supports Israel's right to protect its people from acts of terror. And I'll note that the resolution does not support any steps that would leave Hamas in power, which in turn would undermine the prospects for a 2-state solution.
But crucially, they did not use their power of a veto, which meant that with 13 nations of the 15 on the Security Council approving this resolution, it was adopted.
We supported this resolution, which will streamline aid checks so we can massively scale up the humanitarian response. It demands the immediate and unconditional release of hostages, and it calls for steps towards a sustainable cessation of hostilities.
What it calls for? Well, it calls for urgent steps to immediately allow the safe, unhindered and expanded humanitarian access and to create the conditions for a sustainable cessation of hostilities. That is a marked difference from the language we saw earlier this week that called for urgent and sustainable cessation of hostilities. The resolution also calls for the UN to appoint a coordinator to establish a UN mechanism for accelerating the provision of humanitarian relief consignments to the Palestinian enclave. It calls for the immediate release of Israeli hostages and for all sides to respect international humanitarian law. Despite not using its power of a veto, Russia was noticeably unhappy with the draft text it was voting on, even proposing an amendment calling for the language to be strengthened, calling again for a suspension of hostilities. That amendment, though, was vetoed by the US. Moscow's representative Vasily Nembenzia saying that the US had shown shameful and cynical tactics in promoting what was described by Nembenzia as a toothless resolution. as far as Israel is concerned, well, they said that the UN Security Council should focus more on condemning Hamas and freeing Israeli hostages than negotiating this text. We heard from the UAE, who was a sponsor of this resolution, saying that while it isn't perfect, there are real hopes that this can at least facilitate more humanitarian aid to enter Gaza, as well as to see more done to protect humanitarian workers. Crucially, we have also heard from UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres reacting to this draft resolution. He says he hopes it'll make a difference on the ground. He has laid out some of the humanitarian concerns. He says that 85% of the population in Gaza currently displaced. He said that the healthcare system is on its knees. He warns that a quarter of the population in Gaza are facing catastrophic levels of hunger. He says that while this UN Security Council resolution is a positive step, he warns that the only way to end what he describes as a nightmare for people in Gaza is to see a ceasefire come into effect. William Denslow in New York, reporting for DD India.
Meanwhile, the United Nations has called for the immediate release of hostages held by Hamas.
Israel began its military operation in response to the horrific terror attacks launched by Hamas on 7 October. And nothing can possibly justify those attacks or the brutal abduction of some 250 hostages. And I repeat my call for all remaining hostages to be released immediately and unconditionally.
The spokesperson of the Israeli Defense Forces, Daniel Hagri, has reacted to the UN resolution adopted by the Security Council. The IDF spokesperson said that the resolution includes a demand for the unconditional and immediate release of the hostages held by Hamas and to allow humanitarian access to address their medical needs.
It's important tonight to say that in today's decision by the UN that passed few hours ago and accepted by Security Council, the demand which was raised for an immediate release of the hostages without conditions and to allow humanitarian access in order to get medical needs for the hostages held by Hamas, we call on the international community and the international organizations to implement the decision.
And the White House on Friday said that a dual US-Israeli citizen believed to have been abducted by Hamas was killed during the raid in Israel on the 7th of October. The citizen named Gadi Haggai, a 73-year-old man, was reportedly taken alongside his wife Judy near Kibbutz Niroz in southern Israel on the 7th October. It is believed his remains are being held by Hamas in Gaza. However, it remains unclear exactly how or where he died. The Hostage and Missing Persons Families Forum says 5 to 10 US citizens are still being held hostage. All right, updates on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The Russian and Ukrainian armies continue to exchange fire on Friday, with each side claiming hitting the other's military targets. Russian Defense Ministry said during the past week, Russian forces successfully repelled multiple Ukrainian offensives and attacked Ukrainian military infrastructures, bunker and other targets. Meanwhile, Ukraine claimed that it shot down 3 Russian Su-34 fighter bomber aircraft. Now, Polish Foreign Minister Radoslaw Sikorski visited Kiev on Friday in his first official foreign visit. Sikorski assured of Poland's support to Ukraine in its fight against Russia.
As regards Ukraine's struggle for freedom, this is not an issue of compromises. This is an issue of what we can all do together to make enough military equipment and enough ammunition to send Putin back to where he belongs, which is in Russia.
Now, Sikorski's visit also focused on resolving problematic issues between the two nations, including cross-border problems. Poland hopes that truckers' protests on the border with Ukraine could be solved before the end of the year.
I hope that after today's meeting, before Christmas, there will be a meeting between Polish Infrastructure Minister and the protest committee at the border. We hope that for Christmas, before the end of this year, this problem will be solved.
Now, Polish truckers have been blocking several crossings with Ukraine since November 6th, demanding the European Union reintroduced a permit system for Ukrainian competitors. They resumed their blockade of one of the main crossings at the Ukrainian border this week after a short break. Now, Sikorsky also met Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, who expressed hope to open a new chapter in the two countries' relations. Listen in.
To new team, our congratulations. We really hope that we will open a new chapter in our relations. I really support relations between our governments, between ministries of our countries. I think we are very strong neighbors with common history. And today we face Russian aggression, and as you can see, the war is not over and no one knows what will be tomorrow. And I think we should stay stronger together.
Now, the Netherlands is preparing for an initial delivery of 18 F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine. The Dutch Prime Minister Mark Rutte said that delivery of F-16s is one of the most important elements of the agreements made on military support for Ukraine. The Netherlands also extended support to ensure that an agreement is reached at the European Council meeting in February 2024 on financial support from the EU. Big news, France has grounded a charter flight headed to Nicaragua carrying 303 Indian passengers. The flight carried out by a Romanian charter company, Legend Airlines, had departed from Dubai and landed at the small Vatry airport on Thursday afternoon for a technical stopover when police intervened. 2 people have been arrested for questioning in this regard. A judicial investigation has also been launched into the conditions and purposes of the trip. And in a social media post, Embassy of India in France said French authorities informed it of a plane with 303 people, mostly Indian origin, from Dubai to Nicaragua, detained on a technical halt at a French airport. Embassy team has reached there and obtained consular access. The embassy further said it is investigating the situation and also ensuring well-being of the passengers. And the Consulate General of India in San Francisco has asked the authorities in the United States for quick action against the perpetrators who were involved in the vandalism of the Swaminarayan Temple in California, Newark. The Indian Embassy in San Francisco posted on X, and I quote, "We strongly condemn the defacing of SMVS Sri Swaminarayan Mandir at Newark, California with anti-India graffiti. This incident has hurt the sentiments of the Indian community. We have pressed for quick investigation and prompt action against the vandals by the US authorities in this matter," unquote. All right, we'll slip into a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DD India News Hour. National Day of Mourning is being observed in Czech Republic to pay tributes to the victims of the worst mass shooting. Cuba authorizes euthanasia, the practice of ending life of a patient to limit the suffering. And Santa, with his reindeer-powered green transition-approved vehicle, brings all of the world closer together.
We have with us Mr. Nipendra Mishra, who heads the Ram Temple Construction Committee that was constituted following the Apex Court's order of the land site at the Ram Janmabhoomi.
The country is capable of deciding its fate. This country has to decide how secular we are, and perhaps I do not want to mention this secularism in this country is far beyond, much more advanced than the so-called secularism that is practiced by most of the developed countries. We have not rushed through it. We have ensured that every construction, everything which is being done there is as per the highest standards.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Some more stories. The United States Supreme Court refused to immediately rule on the former President Donald Trump's claim that he cannot be prosecuted for trying to overturn his 2020 election defeat, allowing a federal court to continue reviewing the case. The decision came as Trump faces a slew of legal troubles. The court, responding to an extraordinary request from special counsel Jack Smith, denied a request to surpass a federal appeals court's ruling on Trump's request for criminal immunity before his trial, which is set to start in March next year. The court issued its order without any explanation. The court may still decide to reconsider the issue later. The National Day of Mourning is being observed in Czech Republic to pay tribute to the victims of the worst mass shooting of the Central European nation. Czech President Petr Pavel joined hundreds of mourners on Friday at the Scholz University headquarters in Prague to pay tribute to the 14 people killed by a student gunman on Thursday. And people in Czech Republic mourn the victims of the country's worst mass shooting. Hundreds of candles lit up a square outside the university where a student gunman killed 14 people on December 21st. People outside the Scholz University paid tribute to the victims. Meanwhile, Cuba on Friday authorized euthanasia, the practice of ending life of a patient to limit suffering, as part of its legislation updating the nation's legal framework for its universal and free healthcare system. There was, however, barely a mention in Cuba's state-run media that the government would approve the practice with no public debate.
Terms such as euthanasia were removed from the law and instead used the important plural of determinations. This law legitimizes a right that was demanded during the family's court debate. Many people refer to it. It is the right each person has, based on their own dignity, to determine how the end of their lives will transpire.
De determinar cómo quiere que se desenvuelva el final de su vida.
The jury found two Colorado paramedics guilty of criminally negligent homicide for their role in the 2019 death of a 23-year-old man, Elijah McLean. The jury found one of the convicts guilty of assault in the second degree for giving the sedative. The first trial ended with one police officer being found guilty of criminality, negligent homicide, and another acquitted. The second ended with a third officer being acquitted. McLean was stopped by police after a bystander reported he looked suspicious. He was not alleged to have committed any crime. Police footage showed police detaining and medics used to subdue McLean. The U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said on Friday that the COVID subvariant JN1 now accounts for 39% to 50% of cases in the United States as of December 23rd. This is an increase from the estimated 15% to 29% of cases in the United States that the CDC had projected as of December 8th. The CDC said the variant continues to cause an increasing share of infections and is now the most widely circulating variant in the country. The continued growth suggests the variant is either more transmissible or better at evading immune systems than any other circulating variants. Next story. The last French troops deployed in Niger to help fight a decade-old Islamist insurgency in Sahel left the country on Friday, marking a significant blow to France's influence in the region. France's military exit was a key demand of a junta that seized power in Niger in July, similar to those in neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali after earlier coups there. Niger had remained a key security partner of France until the coup. Earlier on Thursday, France said that it was planning to close its embassy in Niger for an indefinite period. The United Nations World Food Programme says it has temporarily suspended assistance in some parts of Sudan's state of Gaza as fighting spreads from the capital Khartoum. Around 300,000 people have fled Gaza in a matter of days since clashes broke out last week. DD India's Patrick Oet reports from South Sudan's capital, Juba.
The World Food Programme says it has suspended operations due to escalating violence in the state. Fighting between Sudan's armed forces and the paramilitary rapid support forces is spreading from Sudan's capital, Khartoum, to the south and east of the country. The UN Food Programme has been providing aid to more than 800,000 people, many of whom had escaped fighting in Khartoum and settled in Jazeera. The state is the breadbasket of Sudan, and half of all wheat produced in the country comes from Jazeera. An average of 350,000 metric tons of wheat is harvested annually, enough to feed around 6 million people. The state is also home to the Jazeera Agricultural Scheme, one of the largest gravity-fed irrigation projects in the world. It is a source of income and livelihood for millions of people. Now, the area is being abandoned by residents and those who had sheltered there after fleeing Khartoum. The World Food Programme says nearly 18 million people in Sudan are acutely food insecure due to disruptions in economic activities caused by the ongoing fighting. In Juba, Patrick Oyet reporting for DD India.
Democratic Republic of the Congo has begun to announce the results of its general elections marred by chaotic organization and credibility concerns. Electoral authorities announced Congolese diaspora voting results in South Africa, the US, Canada, Belgium and France, with full results expected on Saturday. The vote showed lead for President Felix Tshisekedi over his opposition rivals, while voters also cast their ballots to choose the next crop of national and regional lawmakers and local councillors. Mexico's President Andrés Manuel López Obrador announced on Friday that his government will strengthen its efforts to control immigration as it seeks to assist the United States in dealing with an unprecedented surge of migrants attempting to cross its borders. The announcement comes after he spoke with US President Joe Biden, during which the two leaders agreed that more border enforcement is necessary as the surge of migrants disrupts cross-border commerce. On Friday, the United States reopened two border crossings with Mexico 5 days after the two crossings were closed due to an increase in migrant traffic. The White House has thanked Mexico for its efforts to reduce migration in the region. Now, thousands of Argentines took to the streets for a third day to protest against President Javier Milei's decree ending limits on exports in a bid to salvage an ailing economy. The protesters gathered to call for a nationwide strike as riot police moved in to stop protesters from blocking streets. The decree, signed by the country's new president Javier Milei, contains more than 300 measures designed to implement economic shock therapy to correct the country's macroeconomic imbalances. The country is in the midst of a recession, triple-digit inflation and a rising poverty rate. Now, hundreds of passengers in Indonesia's Sumatra were stranded after the Merapi volcano erupted on Friday. The volcano spewed a thick cloud of ash, causing authorities to close Minangkabau International Airport for safety reasons. As per Indonesia's Volcanology and Disaster Mitigation Agency, the active volcano erupted early Friday morning, spewing a cloud of ash 300 meters above its crater. The 2,891 meters high Merapi is one of Sumatra's most active volcanoes. Earlier this month, a significant eruption resulted in the death of 23 climbers. All right, now let's take a look at other stories making news around the world. Delivering a message of hope and the festive cheer of the night before Christmas, US President Joe Biden and First Lady Jill Biden visited the Children's National Hospital in Washington, D.C. on Friday. Embracing the holiday spirit, they captivated both young patients and their parents with the lively reading of the classic holiday tale. With Christmas just knocking at the door, Santa Claus once again is on the go and will be coming to the town and country, covering the entire globe. Santa, with his reindeer-powered green transition-approved vehicle, brings all of the world closer together. And a Santa Claus in Rio de Janeiro donned flippers and diving gear to swim with sharks in the aquarium on Friday. Every year, the Aquaria Rio puts the sparkle in visitors' eyes with the presence of scuba divers dressed as Father Christmas inside the tanks. Apart from swimming with fish, Santa also swam around an underwater Christmas tree. The Scuba Santa will dive daily until the Christmas day. And over 2,000 underprivileged people in Berlin on Friday attended the traditional Christmas dinner for the needy and homeless. The event is organized annually by 81-year-old singer and actor Frank Zander. Zander has been organizing the event since 1995. The event had been cancelled through the coronavirus. It took place on Friday for the first time since. And Parisian landmarks have never looked as appealing as during this holiday season, with various restaurants and stores offering Yule logs in the shape of famous Paris buildings. Foodies can take a bite out of a miniature Opera Garnier or eat the Sacré-Cœur Basilica's iconic dome. People can also enjoy the Opera Garnier log made from chocolate, biscuits and coffee and orange blossom flavored Sacré-Cœur Basilica themed Yule log this festive season. Well, according to a latest report given by the Indian Ministry of Environment to the Parliament, only 10 rare black tigers with distinctive dark stripe patterns remain in India in Odisha's Similipal Tiger Reserve.
In the heart of Odisha's Similipal Tiger Reserve, a rare phenomenon unfolds. The elusive black tigers. Revealed in the latest report to Parliament, only 10 of these majestic melanistic tigers exist in the entire nation. Minister Ashwani Kumar Chaubey states that Similipal is the exclusive haven with 16 tigers documented, 10 adorned with a dark strip. The 2022 Pan-India Tiger Estimation Exercise unveils this captivating secret. Melanism, a result of the heightened melanin levels, gives these creatures an ethereal allure. The Ministry of Environment emphasizes their conservation commitment, while the National Tiger Conservation Authority issues a strategic directive for the rehabilitation of these mesmerizing beings. Financial support is extended through the ongoing centrally sponsored scheme of integrated development of wildlife habitats to the Similipal Tiger Reserve. This funding is allocated for a spectrum of conservation initiatives, including the safeguarding of tigers, fostering awareness regarding tiger and wildlife conservation, habitat management, protection measures, eco-development, human resource and infrastructure development. These resources play a crucial role in sustaining the delicate balance of Similipal's ecosystem, encompassing voluntary village relocation and a holistic approach to wildlife preservation. Tapas Bhattacharya's report for DT India.
All the time now for a very short break, but still to come on this edition of DT India News Hour. French President Emmanuel Macron will be the chief guest for India's 75th Republic Day parade or celebrations on 26 January next year. Southern Indian state of Tamil Nadu will get relief support from central government to deal with the aftermath of floods caused by heavy rains. And Good Governance Week celebrations underway in India. Details after the break. Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. Recap of what we have done so far. UN Security Council passes Gaza aid resolution after days of delays, demands safe and unhindered aid deliveries as scale. France detains 2 people as Nicaragua-bound plane with Indian passengers grounded. India gets consular access, says situation being investigated, ensures well-being of the passengers. Significant legal victory for Donald Trump after US top court declines to fast-track Trump's immunity claim in 2020 election case. And in sports, Manchester City beat Fluminense 4-0 to clinch first club World Cup title. Now, President Emmanuel Macron of France will visit India next month to attend the country's 75th Republic Day celebrations as its chief guest. India and France share a high degree of convergence on a range of regional and global issues. 2023 is being celebrated as the 25th anniversary of the India-France strategic partnership. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi was the guest of honor at the Bastille Day parade in Paris in July this year. And President Macron visited India for the G20 summit in September this year. And President Macron thanked Prime Minister Narendra Modi for his invitation to be the chief guest at India's 75th Republic Day celebrations. Macron posted a message on X, and I quote him, "Thank you for your invitation, my dear friend Narendra Modi. India, on your Republic Day, I'll be here to celebrate with you." Unquote. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that India looks forward to receiving French President Emmanuel Macron as the chief guest at 75th Republic Day. And in a social media post, this is what Prime Minister Narendra Modi said. "My dear friend President Emmanuel Macron, we eagerly look forward to receiving you as the chief guest at the 75th Republic Day. We will also celebrate India-France strategic partnership and shared belief in democratic values." Moving on to our next story, a day after 4 army personnel attained martyrdom in Poonch terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir, India's National Investigation Agency started investigating the attack on Friday. Jammu and Kashmir's Director General of Police and IGP Jammu Zone camped at Poonch to coordinate search operations. Preliminary investigations revealed that the terrorists used UD-made M4 rifles in the attack. Terrorists are believed to be members either of Lashkar-e-Taiba or Jaish-e-Mohammed outfits. However, the People's Anti-Fascist Front (PAFF) has claimed responsibility for the attack. Nearly a dozen suspects have also been detained for questioning. Additional troops have also been inducted into the area, with aerial monitoring by helicopters being conducted. Sniffer dogs have also been deployed in the area. All right, we'll go across to Jammu now. Ramesh Rai, DD India's correspondent, is joining us on the phone line. Ramesh, security forces continue their operation to hunt down the terrorists, and suspected movement of 4 terrorists was detected through surveillance devices. Fill us in with more details.
Actually, what happened yesterday, one sector here, four suspects, army tracked down the 4 suspects. So alert, they fired on them. It is said 1 terrorist was killed in the fire, but his body was tracked by across the border. So this is another development. And then, therefore, there was an attack on vehicle. 4 army jawans lost their lives, and 2 others were injured. Their security force reported a search operation. As you said, responded sniffer to search down those terrorists who were involved in it. But here, this is another incident that was in course of sector Akpur division. So yesterday was in 22 and 20 that some devices they tracked 4 terrorists They were moving in the area, they were trying.
Right, Ramesh, dozens of suspects, like you said, have also been detained for questioning, and there have been preliminary findings of the National Investigation Agency also. Thank you for getting us the latest on this story. Moving on to our next story, major infiltration bid foiled along the international border at Khaur in Akhnur sector in Jammu district. While Army and National Investigation Agency are conducting massive search and cordon operation regarding the Friday encounter in the Rajouri sector, which claimed the lives of 4 soldiers. Indian Army informed about the incident through a social media post. The Army informed that the suspected movement of 4 terrorists was detected through surveillance devices on the intervening night of December 22nd and December 23rd. The South Indian state of Tamil Nadu has been dealing with the aftermath of the floods caused by heavy rains that paralyzed several parts of India's southern state of Tamil Nadu, inundating roads, affecting train services and leaving authorities scrambling to rescue those stranded. Tamil Nadu Chief Secretary Shivdas Meena interacted with media on Friday regarding rescue operations in the aftermath of floods. He said rescue operations in the districts of Thoothukudi and Tirunelveli were over with the help of more than 3,000 rescue personnel. Around 50,000 people have rescued in the past few days. India's Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman informed that the central government has chalked a comprehensive support mechanism for the relief operations. On the 5th day of continued humanitarian assistance and disaster relief operations in South Tamil Nadu, affected by landslides and floods, Mi-17V5 and ALH through planes of the Indian Air Force airdropped over 11 tons of relief materials in 12 different places in Thoothukudi district. And this aggregates to a drop of 59 tons of relief material so far. All right, we'll move across to Tuticorin now, where DD India's Anbarsan joins us to give us more information on this. Anbarsan, what's the latest on the flood situation in the state, and how is the relief operation coming along? And also tell us the forecast for the next few days.
After the 5 days of relief and rescue works in the flood-affected districts of Tirunelveli and Tuticorin, the 90% of work has been done of rescuing and relief, but still in particularly the area nearby to Tuticorin and nearby villages has been surrounded by water, and still it's not connected to the mainland in sense Tuticorin. And also the electricity has been not given till now. And also Chief Secretary Shivdas Meena has mentioned that both Tirunelveli and Tuticorin, the rescue work has been more or less completed, and still few villages in the neighboring Tuticorin has been need to done. And also after the flood situation, the water lagging has been continuously receding. Still in the interior, some parts in Tuticorin has not receded. The health department has cautioned there is a contagious disease can spread due to that. So they given an alert to the health department to take a precautionary measurement. And also yesterday, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman has held a press conference in Delhi and listed out various measurements that taken by the central government regarding the southern district flood in Tamil Nadu. And they listed out around 42,000 people has been rescued in all these districts via all Indian Navy, Air Force and Coast Guard, and also state forces. And also 900 crore National Disaster Relief Fund has been given to the state via 2 installments. In December 17 itself, actually it's before the southern district flood. And also Finance Minister listed out various measurements, particularly they mentioned there is a predicament of weather forecast. The Chennai Meteorological Department actually given a prior information to the state on December 12th itself, before the 5 days of flood in 17 and 18. That is a situation. And also Finance Minister said that state government has mismanaged some kind of information, and they didn't take a precautionary actions in the flood situation. And the health department also taken a precautionary decision now.
Right, and Barsan, also, I mean, is Tamil Nadu ready for more downpours? Because first cyclone Mishong and now the focus around Christmas doesn't look that great.
Yeah, actually the IMD is predicted Sunday to Monday again another rainfall in the districts of Southern District, and also after this December month itself, Chennai, first week of December, Chennai Mishon cyclone, and after Southern District floods in 17 and 18, and there is an incidence. An annual fall of rainfall has been registered in a single particular day in the particularly Tuticorin and Kayalpattinam, those places. That's why the water level has been some people are saying in their 70 years of experience in lifetime, they never seen this kind of flood situation. So this is the worst scenario they see. And but still relief and rescue operations are done, and now they are moved to relief camps, and also health department conducted health relief camps, so they can approach, and if any disease or health things are happening, and they can take a medicine. And transport and bus, all services are resumed. Tuticorin Airport services also resumed, and it came back to normal.
And Barsan, last question before we leave you.
But still in Tuticorin, some parts are, yeah.
There have been talks, and many have been saying if precautionary measures were taken by the state government well in advance, then this situation would have been avoided. But central government has been swift in its response, and Nirmala Sitharaman, Finance Minister, she did a press conference yesterday, like you were also mentioning. You think a speedy rescue and relief measures for the 4 districts were provided by the central government, we all know, but you think this kind of situation could have been avoided? Like she also said yesterday that the state government has not learned from the 2015 disaster.
Yeah, actually 2015 there is a heavy rainfall. Actually it's below than what we seen in the Southern District rainfall. 2015 it's nearly 40 to 50 centimeters of rain only came in Chennai. In that experience, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said that 4,000 crore has been allocated to the rainwater storm and infrastructural development in the Chennai city, but it's not spent properly, and the state ministers mentioned that it's only spent for 42%. That is what Finance Minister said in the yesterday press conference. So, and also Finance Minister said that the predicament of IMD is given prior of 5 days, and also every 5 days the predicament is given, and also every 3 hours. It's 3 years also there is a predicament is given. So the state government didn't take a precautionary and speedy action in those southern districts.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you, Anand Barsan, for getting us the latest from Tuticorin. Moving on to our next story now, India's actions against climate change, its concrete result-oriented efforts have paved the way for using artificial intelligence to build climate models that would help improve weather forecasting. Take a look at this report.
Extreme weather events have killed nearly 3,000 people this year. Global warming has triggered more intense clashes of weather systems in India in recent years, leading to increase in extreme weather conditions. India's Met Department has been utilizing artificial intelligence for public alerts on heat waves and diseases like malaria, and plans to expand weather observatories, which will offer data at the village level for potentially more precise forecasts. Renewed focus on gathering high-resolution data and incorporating AI into traditional models will aid emerging technologies that will help achieve its sustainable development goals.
India Meteorological Department is also in the process of developing various tools and technology, utilizing the concept of data science and artificial intelligence and machine learning. This AI/ML can be applied for various types of weather forecasting, such as very short range forecast nowcasting, short to medium range forecast up to 5 days, and also for specific applications like cyclone forecasting, agrometeorological services, urban weather services, etc.
AI-based systems can predict harsh impacts of climate change and events with higher levels of accuracy by giving accurate data to predict events such as rise in sea levels, cyclones, storms, less or more rainfall, even glacial outbursts. While technological evolution continues to aid regular efforts to achieve net zero emissions, climate tech investments could see a significant rise in the future. Bureau Report, DD India.
Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is being undertaken across India with the aim to attain saturation of flagship schemes of the government through ensuring that the benefits of these schemes reach all targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. Advisor to the Lieutenant Governor of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, Rajiv Rai Bhatnagar, on Friday participated in a Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra event held in Udhampur district. Stalls were put up by various departments where the advisor also handed over the sanctioned letters and benefits to beneficiaries under various schemes. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi's recorded message was also played for people present during the event. Sankalp pledge was also taken during the program. Member of Indian Parliament Hema Malini participated in Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra in the Indian village of Doordarshan. She notified about various public welfare schemes run by the government. Hema Malini distributed Kisan Nidhi Samman letters and Ayushman cards to eligible people. She also administered oaths to the officers, workers and people present in the program. Let's now take a look at other stories making news today. India is observing Good Governance Week from 19th December 2023, which will culminate on 25th December, known as the Good Governance Day. Union Minister Dr. Jitendra Singh inaugurated the celebrations on 19th December in New Delhi. This is the third consecutive year of week-long celebrations organized by Department of Administrative Reforms and Public Grievances, Government of India. Devotees thronged to Sri Ranganath Swami Temple in Sri Rangam, Trichy on the occasion of Vaikunt Ekadasi on Saturday. They witnessed the Parampad Vasai, also known as opening of 7th gate to heaven. On this occasion, Vaikunt Ekadasi is observed annually on the 11th lunar day of Shukla Paksh or Margazi month of the Hindu calendar. The pilgrim city of Ayodhya, located in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh, is undergoing beautification work on a vast scale and in a time-bound manner. Ahead of the grand consecration ceremony of Sri Ram Temple, scheduled to be held on 22nd January 2024, the city is already witnessing devotees and tourists in huge numbers who have come to be part of the event, termed to be one of its kind in a millennium. The Carter Road of Bandra in Mumbai undergoes transformation every year ahead of Christmas and New Year as a beloved tradition for locals and visitors. Adorned with Christmas lights, the entire stretch of the road creating a festive atmosphere. The promenade also features eye-catching decorations and bustling crowds. All right, time now for another short break, but still to come on DD India News Hour. Inter Miami signed striker Luis Suarez, which means he once again teams up with close friend and former Barcelona teammate Lionel Messi. And promoting the sports at the grassroots level, logo and mascot launched by Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur for Khelo India Youth Games. And Ayodhya gears up for a grand Sri Ram Temple inauguration. Details after the break.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts. We demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. The chairman of India's Space Research Organization, ISRO, S. Somnath, said that India will have its own Bharat space station. Addressing the young scientists at a science conference in Ahmedabad in the western Indian state of Gujarat, S. Somnath said Indian scientists will land on the moon in the next 25 years. He called upon the student scientists to contribute towards building a developed India by using their knowledge and potential. Leading scientists, students and researchers of the country are participating in this conference, which is being held from 21st to 24th December. Indian Space Research Organization Chief S. Somnath said that the country's maiden solar mission, Aditya L1, will reach its destination, the Lagrangian point, which is located 1.5 million kilometers from Earth on January 6 next year. Aditya L1 solar mission, launched by ISRO from Sriharikota on September 2nd, will study the sun from a halo orbit L1 and gather data for the next 5 years. Lagrange points are positioned in space where the gravitational forces of a two-body system like the sun and Earth produce enhanced regions of attraction and repulsion. In a way, these can be used by spacecraft as parking lots in space to remain in a fixed position with minimum fuel consumption. The mission's success is crucial for India's growth and understanding the dynamics of the sun.
Aditya L1 will enter L1 point, Lagrangian point, on 6th. So that is what is expected. Exact time will be announced by appropriate time. 6th of January. When it reaches L1 point, we have to fire the engine once again, give some speed reduction so that it doesn't go further. So it will go to that point, and then once it reaches that point, it will rotate around the point and it will be trapped in that L1 point, Lagrangian point L1, which is a point between Earth and Sun, which is where the gravities are cancelling each other.
Business updates now. The annual rotation on the U.S. Federal Reserve's interest rate setting committee means its 2024 voting members lean slightly more hawkish than the outgoing group from 2023, but that won't budge the outlook for a pivot to interest rate cuts next year. In fact, plenty of analysts make the opposite argument. If inflation continues to fall more quickly than expected, Fed policymakers will want to reduce rates even more than the 0.75 of a percentage point implied in fresh projections published last week. And U.S. stocks came to a mixed close on Friday as investors headed into the Christmas holiday weekend. All three indexes turned less decisive in light trading as the afternoon progressed after an initial rally on data showing inflation is easing closer to U.S. central bank's target. The S&P 500 gained 7.88 points to end at 4,755 points, while the Nasdaq Composite gained 29.11 points to 14,993. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 18.38 points to 37,386. Sports now. Manchester City beat Brazilian side Fluminense 4-0 in the final to win the first ever Club World Cup in emphatic fashion. Julian Alvarez scored the fastest ever goal to cap a remarkable year by capturing their 5th trophy of 2023. Nino scored an own goal in the 27th minute, deflecting a shot from Phil Foden sideways into the net. Foden put the game away in the 72nd minute when the slid to poke in a hard cross across the box from Alvarez. Alvarez completed his brace in the 88th minute with a strike from just inside the box. And Inter Miami have signed striker Luis Suarez. The club announced the development on Friday. Suarez will once again team up with close friend and former Barcelona teammate Lionel Messi. Now, Uruguayan has signed a contract for the 2024 season and has also been reunited with former Barca players and treble-winning teammate Sergio Busquets and Jordi Alba, with who they won 4 La Liga titles in 5 years. And Indian Sports Minister Anurag Singh Thakur unveiled the official logo, jersey, mascot and torch for the 6th edition of Khelo India Youth Games in Tamil Nadu on Friday. The 2024 edition of the Khelo India Youth Games is slated to take place from 19th January to 31st next year in 4 cities of Tamil Nadu. Over 5,000 athletes from all over the country will participate in the Olympic, non-Olympic as well as indigenous games at Khelo India Youth Games 2024.
The official logo, jersey, mascot, torch and theme song for the 6th edition of Khelo India Youth Games was launched in Tamil Nadu on Friday in the presence of Union Minister of Youth Affairs and Sports Anurag Singh Thakur and Sports Minister of Tamil Nadu Udayanidhi Stalin. The event was graced by renowned sports icons such as chess grandmaster Vishwanathan Anand, Tokyo Olympian fencer Bhavani Devi, badminton star Joshna Chinnappa, among other esteemed personalities. The 6th edition of the Khelo India Youth Games is set to take place from January 19 to 31, 2024 in Tamil Nadu. 4 cities of Tamil Nadu, namely Chennai, Trichy, Madurai and Coimbatore will host the games. Squash has been added in the games for the first time. Silambam, a form of Indian martial arts, has been included in the program as a demo sport. Speaking on the occasion, Anurag Singh Thakur hailed Khelo India program and government for making a strong sports system.
The field of sports, I can say, yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai. So please come forward, pick up a sport and do well. And for the young athletes who stand before me today, remember this, Khelo India Youth Games is not just about winning medals. It's about pushing your limits, embracing the spirit of fair play and forging friendships that will last a lifetime. Let your talent shine. Let your determination roar. Let your performance inspire millions across the country.
The previous 5 editions of the Youth Games have been held in Delhi, Pune, Guwahati, Panchkula and Bhopal. Haryana and Maharashtra have dominated the game since its inception. The 5th edition took place in Madhya Pradesh, where Maharashtra topped the medal tally with 161 medals. Haryana followed it up with 2nd place, while Madhya Pradesh ended in 3rd place. The Khelo India program by the Government of India is an initiative to revive the sports culture in India at the grassroots level by building a strong framework for all sports played in our country and establish India as a great sporting nation. Ritesh Ranjan's report, DD India, Chennai.
Now let's take you to northern Indian pilgrim city of Ayodhya and watch these visuals from the laser show organized ahead of Sri Ram Temple inauguration in January next year. That's all for this edition of DD India News Hour, but do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, from the Twitter and Instagram. And we'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Abhishek Mahajan. From all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India News Hour.